Good morning, dear students. I am Dr. Thenmozhi, Assistant Professor and Head, Department of Zoology, St.Joseph's College of Arts and Science, Autonomous Cuddalore. Today, our topic is ecosystem. Do you know what is ecosystem? An ecosystem is a structural and functional unit of ecology where the living organisms are there. They interact with each other and the surrounding environment. In other words, it is called as ecosystem. It is a chain of interactions between organisms and their environment. The term ecosystem was first coined by T.G. Tansley, an English botanist, in the year 1935. The structure of an ecosystem can be split into two main components. They are biotic components and abiotic components. The abiotic factors are components consisting of soil, water, humidity, climate, temperature, soil, etc. Biotic factors are again divided into three main components: producers, consumers, and decomposers. Consumers are again divided into three main types: primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. The primary consumers are always herbivores, that means they plant eating animals and animals. Secondary consumers are primary carnivores, we can say it as primary carnivores, they feed upon the herbivores. Secondary carnivores are the top lying carnivores like lion and tiger. Okay. Biotic component refers to all living organisms in the ecosystem. Based on nutrition, biotic components can be categorized into autotrophs, heterotrophs, and saprotrophs or decomposers. Producers include all the autotrophs such as plants. They are all called as autotrophs as they can produce their food on their own. Consequently, all the other organisms are higher up on the food chain rely on the producers only for their food. Consumers are organisms that depend upon other organisms for food. Consumers are further classified into, as I said earlier, primary, secondary, and tertiary consumers. Decomposers include saprophytes such as fungi and bacteria. They directly thrive on the dead and decaying organic matter. Decomposers are essential for the ecosystem as they help in recycling the nutrients to be reused by the plants. Abiotic components include, as I said earlier, air, water, soil, minerals, sunlight, temperature, nutrients, wind, altitude, even turbidity. What are all the functions of an ecosystem? The functions of an ecosystem are as follows. That means it regulates the essential ecological processes, it supports the life systems and renders stability. It also responsible for the cycling of nutrients between biotic and abiotic components. It maintains the balance among the various trophic levels in an ecosystem. It cycles the minerals through the biosphere. The abiotic components help in the synthesis of organic components that involve the exchange of energy. What are all the functional units of ecosystem? Productivity. Productivity refers to the rate of biomass production. For example, the amount of grass in grams or in kilograms in an unit square meter. Energy flow. What is energy flow? Energy flow is flowing of energy from one traffic level to another. It is a sequential process through which energy flow from one traffic level to another. The energy captured from the sun. Sun is the foremost energy source that every organisms are getting. So sun flows from the producers to the consumers and then into the decomposers and finally back to the environment. Decomposition. Decomposition is a process of breaking down of dead organic material that is done by only bacteria and fungi. The topsoil is the major site for decomposition. The underground soil or subsoil or bottom soil is not essential. It is not, there is no decomposition in that level. Nutrient cycling. In an ecosystem, nutrients are consumed and recycled back in the various forms for the utilization of various organisms. There are many types of ecosystem. The major two types of ecosystem are terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem exclusively land-based ecosystem. There are different types of terrestrial ecosystems that are distributed around the various geological zones. That is forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, tundra ecosystem and desert ecosystem. Forest ecosystem consists of several plants, uh, trees, animals, microorganisms, and all the biotic factors of the environment live in there. Forest helps in maintaining the temperature of the earth, that is moderating the climate of the earth, and they are the major carbon sink. Grassland ecosystem is the what is grassland? It is the vegetation that is dominated by grasses and herbs. Temperate grasslands and tropical grasslands are the examples for grassland ecosystem. For example, Deccan Plateau. Tundra ecosystem is devoid of trees and found in cold climates, cold countries where there is rainfall is very scarce. These are covered with snow for most of the years, and tundra type of ecosystem is found in the Arctic and mountain tops. Deserts are found throughout the world. There are regions with little rainfall and scarce vegetation. So deserts is mainly meant for absence of water content. The days are hot and the nights are cold in deserts. What is aquatic ecosystem? Aquatic ecosystems are the ecosystem which is present in the body of water that can be further divided into two types: freshwater ecosystem and marine water ecosystem. Freshwater ecosystem is aquatic ecosystem that includes lake, pond, rivers, streams and wetlands. There is no salt content in contrast to the marine ecosystem. Marine ecosystem includes seas and oceans. They have more substantial salt content and greater biodiversity in comparison to that of the freshwater ecosystem. We can study some important ecological concept. First of all, food chain. What is food chain? The process of eating and being eaten in an ecosystem is called as the food chain. During biological process, light energy is converted into chemical energy and is passed on through successive trophic levels. The flow of energy from producer to the consumer is eventually to the apex predator or to the detritivore is called as the food chain. Dead and decaying matter along with the organic debris is broken down into its constituents by scavengers. The reducers then absorb these constituents. After gaining the energy, the reducers liberate the molecules to the environment, which can be utilized again by the predators. This is the flow chart showing the food chain, in which grassland ecosystem, grasshoppers are the primary consumers, then rats and frogs are the secondary consumers, and snakes and vultures are the tertiary consumers. And what is the ecological pyramid? Pyramid is a graphical representation of number of energy, biomass and successive trophic levels of the ecosystem. Charles Elton was the first ecologist to describe about ecological pyramid and its principles in the year 1927. The biomass, the number, the energy of an organism ranging from the producer level to the consumer level are represented in the form of a pyramid, hence it is known as ecological pyramid. For example, in a grassland ecosystem, grasshoppers feed on the crops such as cotton, wheat or some other plants. These grasshoppers then preyed upon by common mouse, which are comparatively lesser in number. The mice are preyed upon by snakes such as cobras, Snakes ultimately preyed on apex predators such as brown snake eagle. So this can be represented here as a flow chart: grasshopper, mouse, cobra, brown snake, eagle. So while the traffic level goes on forwarding, there will be lesser in quantity of the energy and lesser in number, lesser in biomass. Food web. Define what is food web. Food web is a network of interconnected food chain. That means every organisms are having some different choices of food. It comprises of all the food chains within a single ecosystem. It helps in understanding the plants by the foundation of all the food chain. In a marine environment, phytoplankton forms the primary producer. So in all the ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem, phytoplankton is the primary producer. I think we could have understand this topic. So thank you.